It's 7:50 in the morning and the cup is already in your hand before you decided you wanted it. The cafe on the corner, the same one. The girl behind the counter knows the order before you say it. $6. You tap the card. You don't think about it. Nobody thinks about it. $6 is the price of not having to think. This is where two people start in exactly the same place. Their names are Maya and Alex. Same age, 25. Same starting salary, almost to the dollar. Same city, same kind of apartment, same 40-minute commute that passes this exact cafe every single morning. They even ordered the same drink. For the next 40 years, almost everything about their lives will rhyme. They will earn roughly the same money, sit in roughly the same traffic, worry about roughly the same things at 2 in the morning. There is only one difference between them, and it is so small that on any given morning you could not possibly point to it as the thing that mattered. Alex buys the coffee. Maya, most mornings, does not. Hold that in your mind, because this is a story about $6. The same $6 every morning for 40 years, and about the two completely different people it quietly turns them into while neither of them is watching. It's a Tuesday. Alex walks into the cafe the way he always does. The warmth, the smell, the small ceremony of it. $6, tapped without a thought, and he is back on the street with the cup warming his hand. It is a good moment. It is genuinely a good moment, and that matters, because nobody in this story is being stupid. Maya walks past the cafe and feels the pull of it, the same pull, and keeps walking. At her desk, she opens an app she downloaded the night before. She moves $6 into an index fund. The whole market. One button, no opinion required. The screen tells her the balance is $6. It looks absurd. It looks like a child's lemonade money. She feels slightly foolish, like someone planting a single seed in an empty field and calling it a farm. There is no warmth to it, no smell, no ceremony, no cup to hold, just $6 sitting in something that owns a sliver of every large company on earth. She does it again the next morning, and the next. Then she sets it to happen on its own, so she never has to feel the decision. So the money leaves before she can turn it into something with a lid. About $180 a month, gone, towards something she cannot drink. She barely notices. That was always the strange thing about the $6. It disappeared either way. She only changed where it went. A year passes. They are 26 now. Alex has had a good year of mornings, 365 small warm moments he could not list for you if you offered him money to try. Maya checks her app once at lunch and the balance reads about $1,900. She put in around $1,825 of her own. The market added the rest while she slept, $75, a number so small it is almost insulting. She mentions it once to Alex because they work the same floor now and eat lunch at the same table. He asks how much she's made. She tells him. He laughs, not cruelly, just honestly. $75 in a year, he says. I spend that on coffee in 2 weeks. He's not wrong, and here is the part neither of them understands yet. The $75 is not the point. The $75 is nothing. The habit is everything, and the habit is invisible, which is exactly why it will win. Maya closes her laptop and says nothing. The only difference between them this year is $75 and a thing nobody can see. They are 30, 5 years in. Maya's balance is around $11,000. She contributed about $9,000 of it. The rest appeared out of time. $11,000 built entirely out of mornings she walked past a cafe. One night she does the math and realizes the number is made of coffee. Every cup she didn't buy, every $6 she rerouted, sitting in an account with her name on it instead of in a paper cup in a landfill. That same month, a friend texts both of them the same screenshot. A coin, a ticker nobody's heard of, up 400% in a week. The friend has put $2,000 in. He tells them to stop being cowards. Says their boring choices make in a year what his thing makes before lunch. Alex puts in $500 he doesn't really have. Maya texts back that she'll pass. She has seen this shape before, the promise that a small amount becomes a large amount instantly with no time in between. Where she grew up, that promise had a name, and the name was a lottery ticket. 3 months later, the coin is down 90% and the friend has stopped bringing it up. Alex doesn't talk about his $500 again either. Maya keeps doing the most boring thing a person can do with money. She keeps being early to bed and slow to rich. They are 35. 10 years, Maya's balance is roughly $28,000. She has put in $18,000 of her own dollars, and the market has handed her almost $10,000 more for the crime of not flinching. Then the year goes bad. The whole market drops. The headlines use the word crash. Her balance falls by a third in a few weeks. More money gone on paper than she earns in a year at her job. Alex, watching the same headlines, feels something close to relief that he never got in. The friend who sold everything at the bottom says he saw it coming, says he's in cash now. Safe. Maya does not sell, but it's quieter than that, softer than a decision. She simply stops opening the app. She lets the number fall and keeps the 180 going out the door every month, buying the same fund while it is cheaper than it has been in years. She is not brave. She is just bored enough to do nothing, and doing nothing turns out to be the rarest skill in finance. By the time everyone agrees it's safe to come back in, her boring habit has already bought the bottom nobody could see. They are 40. 15 years. The market came back the way it always has so far, and Maya's balance is around 52,000. She has put in about 27,000 of her own. For the first time in her life, the account holds more money than she ever fed it. Sit with that, because it is the moment the whole thing changes character. Up to now, she was pushing a stone uphill $6 at a time, and the hill barely moved. Now the stone is rolling on its own, and her only job is to not stand in front of it. That spring, someone on their floor gets laid off. Alex included, briefly before he's rehired 2 stressful months later. During those 2 months, Alex has nothing behind him, nothing between him and a missed rent payment but the next paycheck that isn't coming. Maya, in the same building, doing the same job, has a number she has never touched and never planned to touch, sitting quietly in the background. And for the first time, she understands the $6 was never only about some far-off retirement. It was always also a wall between her and the version of a bad year that ends in panic. She doesn't tell Alex about it. She buys his lunch that week and says nothing. They are 45. 20 years. Maya's balance is about 89,000. She has contributed 36,000 across 2 decades, $6 at a time, and the account has more than doubled it on its own. Something strange is true now. The money the market gives her in a year is starting to rival what she puts in. Her account has quietly taken a second job she never assigned it. There's a reunion that summer, the same crowd from those early years on the floor. Someone pulls up in a car that costs more than they make in a year. Least, someone talks too loudly about a watch. Alex is there, comfortable, easy, well-liked, the same warm guy he always was, still stopping at the cafe every morning. He asks Maya, half joking, if she ever did anything with that little app from back then. She tells him she stuck with it. He asks how much is in there now. She tells him. The table goes quiet in a way she didn't ask for and doesn't enjoy. She changes the subject. The $6 was never loud. It was the one thing in the room that never needed to be. They are 50. 25 years. Maya's balance is around 144,000. She has contributed about 45,000 in total, and the account has tripled it without asking permission. She reads the headlines differently now. Stories about how most people her age have almost nothing saved, how a comfortable retirement is slipping out of reach, how the math no longer works for ordinary earners. She is an ordinary earner. She did the same job as the people in those headlines, made roughly the same salary, paid the same rent, sat in the same traffic. Alex is in those headlines too, in a way, though he'd never say it out loud. The only thing Maya did differently was walk past a cafe, quietly, for 25 years, and root the difference into the most unremarkable fund in existence. Her friends talk about retirement like a cliff they're being marched toward. She talks about it like weather, something that arrives whether you worry about it or not. She doesn't say that out loud either. By now she understands the number is loudest when it stays silent. They are 55, 30 years. Maya's balance is around 226,000. She has put in about 55,000 total across 3 decades, an amount small enough to lose in a couch cushion. The other 170,000 was never hers to earn. It was time, and she simply gave time the room to do its work. This is the year the math flips for good. The account now grows more in a single strong year from its own size than she could add by hand if she doubled her contributions. She has become a passenger to her own balance. The thing she built is now bigger than the building of it ever was. She doesn't talk about the number, not to her kids, not to her coworkers, not to Alex, who still waves at her every morning on the way into the cafe. The number lives in a place no one looks, which is exactly where it grew. They are 65. 40 years from the morning Maya first walked past the cafe. Her balance is about $531,000. Sit with the breakdown, because it is the whole story in 3 numbers. Of that $500,000, the amount she actually contributed, $6 at a time, every morning for 4 decades, is about $73,000. The other $458,000 is growth. Money she never earned, never worked an hour for, never noticed leaving, and never watched arrive. She did not get lucky. She did not pick a winner. She did not time anything. She walked past a cafe 40,000 mornings in a row and let the smallest possible amount sit in the most boring possible place for the longest possible time. That is the entire mechanism. There is no second secret, no faster version. The slowness was the price, and almost nobody is willing to pay in a currency that takes 40 years to clear. Alex retires the same year, same job the whole way, same salary, a decent man who never missed a shift and never hurt a soul. For 40 years, his $6 also added up to about $73,000, the exact same money Maya put in. He drank it. 40,000 warm mornings, a small good moment each time, a lifetime of them. And here's the thing, the story refuses to make simple. Alex is not a cautionary tale. He has 40 years of something real, a small daily pleasure he chose and enjoyed and would not give back. He has a pension and a paid-off life and no regrets he'll admit to. He stood at the same counter as Maya, held the same $6 on the same mornings for 40 years. He has a lifetime of those mornings. Maya has most of those mornings too, the ones that mattered, and also $500,000 sitting behind her life, like a second person who's been quietly working the whole time. Nobody can point to the day the two of them split. There was no day. There were just two different answers to the same small question, asked again every morning, until the answers stopped being choices and became two different lives. Somewhere right now it is 7:50 in the morning, and someone is standing at a cafe counter with the cup already in their hand, $6 about to leave their account before they fully decided to want it. They are not doing anything wrong. $6 is nothing. That has always been the trap and the door at the same time. The $6 is too small to feel, which is exactly why almost no one keeps it, and exactly why it quietly decides everything for the few who do. You are never going to feel the $6 either way. You only ever get to choose what it's turning you into while you're not paying attention.